There's a lot in this world that is just plain stupid. Licking a hobo's feet. Letting Freddy Krueger give you a prostate exam. Peeing on an electric fence. And then falling forward. Why not try something that might make you a little bit smarter? It's time for another damn trivia show. Stick around and listen. I think you'll be glad you did. Welcome, boils and ghouls, to this week's haunted episode of Another Damn Trivia Show on the Wicked Radio Network. Now, this past week, I was feeling nostalgic for some spectral fun, so I popped in my DVD copy of Ghostbusters! You got it. For some reason, I noticed that during the earthquake scene at the film's climax, the precinct number on the police car was 41. Yes, I get it. That's what I'm watching, yes. It was 41. Now, I thought nothing of it until I watched The Frighteners later, and saw... No, now I'm talking about a different movie. Anyway, and saw that the same number, 41, appeared in the forehead of Dr. Lucy Linsky. So, naturally, when I realized that this week's episode of Another Damn Trivia Show was also number 41, I shrieked like a little girl, I wet myself, and I fainted. Not necessarily in that order. But, fear not, faithful listeners. I'm up, I'm in fresh skivvies, and I ain't afraid of no ghosts. So, we're gonna start this episode the way we start off every episode, and that's with a little triv biz. Come and get it, ghosts. It's always a great feeling to know somebody has figured out you exist. So I was tickled pink when I got this tweet from The Half Scoop, which is a fantastic show out of Australia on the Wicked Radio Network. And it was this. Your show is one big trivia quiz? Where have you been all my life? Although probably said with an Australian accent, which I'm not going to try because I'll probably just butcher it. Anyway, I don't know where I've been all your life, but since about May or so, I've been on the Wicked Radio Network. So hopefully, now that you've discovered this show, you'll check it out every week and entertain yourself with some trivia. I know I definitely entertain myself with the Half Scoop whenever I can. The Furnicast said, and I'm guessing this is Mandy, if you like trivia, you gots to get some ADTS scoopers. Now, I'm not exactly sure what she means by scoopers, unless she means those nacho chips made like a cup that you can pick up lots of salsa in, which I approve of. But if not, I'm assuming it's just a good thing, and I'm going to thank the Furnicast for that tweet, and definitely say, like anyone, like they need my plug, but you should go check out the Furnicast. It's hilarious. It's also on the Wicked Radio Network, and definitely worth your time. Now, a tweet that did not come from someone on the Wicked Radio Network came from Julian Delgleish, or at DAJulian85. Now, he's not a part of the network, but he is my brother-in-law. He just recently realized I do a podcast, because apparently I don't advertise myself well to family, or anyone for that matter. But this is what he said. He said, just listen to your podcast. Here's one for you in internet speak. WPGGNOREPLZRQ Kappa. Now, I don't know what that means. My best guess was, well played, good game, no reply required, Kappa. And then I thought maybe Kappa was a misprint meant to be Koopa, like it was a Mario Brothers reference. I don't know. Julian is a lot smarter than me when it comes to computers, and therefore not surprising that he knows internet speak that I don't know. He goes deep into the internet. He's in those dark corners. I don't even gaming, and it's all night benders and World of Warcrafting. It's impressive, but beyond my ken. So thank you, Julian, for listening. Basically, is what I'm saying. And next, we got one from Jamesy Boy again. Oh, dear Lord. As I've mentioned, James is one of my students, and he listens, and as I said, in class, really good at trivia, really smart kid, and his marks in trivia, in Another Damn Trivia Show, haven't been where he wants them. So they've been getting consistently better, which, as I mentioned before, is what we're looking for, consistent growth. He wrote, catching up on the real ADTS. On episode 38, 22 out of 25. That's more like it. And I agree. That is more like it, James. But then he ended it with hashtag, there's nothing wrong with my Twitter handle. Of course there is, James. It's Jamesy Boy. Come on. Anyway, he then tweeted 39, meh, 19 out of 25. And then 40, I'm not tweeting my score for episode 40. I don't like Trivial Pursuit. So, my response to him was, I guess you don't like general trivia? Anyway, trust me, he's really good, and I appreciate that he keeps listening, and love that 22 out of 25. Excellent job. And finally, Wicked Radio Branches, sorry, that was his Twitter name, Wicked Branches, oi. Frank Branches, one of the founders of the Wicked Radio Network, said, "The best of Canada, Rush, Another Damn Trivia Show, Small Town Bring Down, and members of the Horror Honeys." And I have to say, I am very, very proud to be associated with that fantastic bunch of Canadians. I'd have preferred if the band was Bare Naked Ladies instead of Rush, but you know what? Rush is still pretty damn cool. So thanks a lot, Frank, for that comment. And I can think of no better tweet to end TrivBiz on, than that. So let's get ourselves to the question, shall we? I think we shall. As the Beatles once said, sometimes you just need a little help from your friends. And this week, that was certainly the case. Based off of the intro, I'm guessing you suspected that there was going to be some sort of a ghost movie theme to the first set of questions, and you were right. The problem is, I'm a big, huge horror fan, but my tastes tend to run towards the slasher. So Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, things like that. I don't really have a really great working knowledge of ghost movies. Luckily for me, the Wicked Radio Network has just recently intelligently picked up a show about horror movies from the Horror Honeys, who you can check out on their website, thehorrorhoneys.com, where you can see tons of reviews and blogs about all sorts of horror stuff from intelligent, fantastic, really awesome girls. Anyway, they've just recently started their own podcast, and now they're on the Wicked Radio Network, and I decided, hey, what better way to get information about ghost movies than to ask the Horror Honeys? So I sent out a tweet asking about their favorite movies, and the Horror Honeys did not disappoint. So each one of these questions is based on a movie recommended by one or more of the Horror Honeys. Alright, so let's get started. Question 1 came from Suzanne at SusieB04, and she is the Supernatural Honey. And here's the question. The Devil's Backbone is a 2001 Spanish-Mexican gothic horror film directed and co-written by who? Hint. Other notable works by this director include Pan's Labyrinth, the Hellboy movies, and some movie about big robots punching monsters in their stupid faces. Question 2 comes from Danica, who you can find at Danica the Freaka, and she is the Monster Honey. In several countries around the world, there is a similar legend about a spectral lady seen in rural areas. Each report tends to be associated with some local legend of tragedy, but the theme of losing or being betrayed by a loved one seems to be universal. So widespread is this legend that it inspired a 1988 horror film named for the legend. The name of the movie is The Lady in Blank. Hint, I'm looking for a color. So what is the blank? The lady in what? Question 3 comes from Jocelyn, or at JB Rivard, and she is the hardcover honey. The 1999 horror movie Stir of Echoes starred what leading man? Hint, he currently stars in the TV series The Following. Question 4. This comes from Kaylee, or at Kaylee Azuri, and she is the gamer honey. The iconic poster for the film Poltergeist featured a little girl with her back to the viewer, staring into and pressing her hands up against what? And finally, question 5 from Whitney, or at Whitney Baltz. She is the dark comedy honey. This also happens to be a film that was recommended by Mel, who is at Queen of the Darned, and well, I guess she's Matt Leroy's honey. During the end credit of The Frighteners, the Mutton Birds play a cover of what Blue Oyster Cult song? Hint, it's a Blue Oyster Cult song. You shouldn't need any hint other than that. Sheesh. To end off this category, I also want to say that Linny Lou who was the Revenge Honey, recommended Don't Look Now, and Kat, the head honey herself, who is at Horror Honeys, recommended the original House on Haunted Hill. So there you go. 7 fantastic recommendations if you're in the mood for a little ghostly fun. And let's move on to category 2, which is titled Names and Places. For this category, I am looking for celebrities whose names are also places, either their first or their last name. And I will give you a clue to both the celebrity and the place, so it should be nice and simple. Here we go. Question 1. Based on her name, you might assume that her bodyguard Kevin Costner might have been carrying her out of a Texas city. Question 2. If her name is any clue, she may do another season of The Simple Life in a city in France. Question 3. If names are any indication, this actor would have chosen to film Walk the Line in a city in Arizona. Question 4. This actor's name would suggest that both The Lord of the Rings and The Pirates of the Caribbean were filmed in Florida. And finally, question 5. If names mean anything, then this actor probably starred with Annette Funicello in those beach party movies on the mythical island from the Arthurian legends. And that does it for names and places, and brings us to category 3, which is cryptozoology. Now, for those of you who don't know, cryptozoology is the study of creatures not yet proven to exist. Here we go. Question 1. The ape or humanoid-like creature known as Bigfoot is also known by what more official name? Question 2. This creature is like the Bigfoot, only in the snow. It's known as the Abominable Snowman, but it is also known by what more official name? Question 3. This cryptid from Mexico has a name that when translated into English means goat sucker. Question 4. Everyone's heard of the Loch Ness Monster, but Canada has its own legendary lake monster, rumored to be in the Okanagan Lake in British Columbia. What is its name? And finally, similar to the Sasquatch and the Yeti, the Yowie is a mythical creature from what continent? And that does it for cryptozoology, and brings us into category 4, who drives it? I've never really been a car guy. I could care less what car I drive as long as it gets me from point A to point B and doesn't cost me $1 million in gas. But when I was younger, and I watched TV and movies, as important to me as the people in the movies and television shows were the things they drove. Those vehicles that were just iconic. You know, like the A-Team's van. Things like that. Just toys were made, and you said, you know, oh, we're playing this, I want to drive this car, I want to drive this vehicle, I want to fly Airwolf. So this category is called Who Drives It, and it's basically about the vehicles that people drove in movies and television. I name the vehicle, you tell me who drove it. Alright, here we go. Question 1. This duo cruises the galaxy in the Millennium Falcon. Question 2. These cousins are always finding piles of dirt to use as ramps when driving in the General Lee. Who drives the General Lee? Question 3. He drives Kit, though sometimes Kit drives himself. Question 4. He avoids the machines as he captains the Nebuchadnezzar. And finally, he travels in a police call box. Well, that's what it looks like. It's actually the TARDIS. And that does it for Who Drives It, and brings us to our final category of the week, which is Joey's Super Hard Sports Trivia. If you haven't listened to the Stereotype podcast on the Wicked Radio Network, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's a lot of fun, and one of the hosts on that show is Joey K. You can find him at Knizo Tweets, or, as I said, on the Stereotype podcast weekly. Check out their tweets for questions they'll shout you out on the show. It's good times. Anyway, Joey had given me a couple sports trivia questions of his own, and I said, hey, you come up with 5, I'll put them on the show as a category. And he did. So this is Joey's Super Hard Sports Trivia. Now, I call it that because it's super hard to me. I'm not a sports guy. I have a lot of sports categories over the episodes, but they tend to be simpler, or things I've looked up. This is stuff I would not have got. I would have gotten one of these. So, let's see how you do, sports fans, on Joey's Super Hard Sports Trivia. Question 1. Who is the only MLB, that's Major League Baseball, player to win an All-Star MVP and a World Series MVP award in the same season? Question 2. The NBA logo is actually a silhouette of what Hall of Fame Laker player? Question 3. What current NFL running back is nicknamed the Law Firm? Question 4. According to Forbes magazine, in 2014, which NFL team is ranked at the highest value? Ah heck, let me make this easier. Name any of the top 3 ranked teams. And finally, question 5. Who is the famous sports announcer doing the play-by-play in the Meatloaf song Paradise by the Dashboard Lights? And that does it for Joey's Super Hard Sports Trivia. Thanks a lot, Joey K. Remember, you can find him at Kanizo Tweets or on the Stereotyped Podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, that does it for our questions. So let's go to shameless self-promotion. If you want to comment to me about the show or ask me any questions, if you want to be a guest brain, if you want to tweet me your scores, or you want to suggest a category, you can find me on Twitter at OH_Brundage, that's O Brundage, or at @TheReal_ADTS. Either one of those will get to me. You can leave comments for the show on TalkShoe.com. Look up Another Damn Trivia Show. I'm also on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and, of course, the Wicked Radio Network. And while there's still time, I beg of you, if you've got the internet, go to the Beast Awards nomination site. I believe it's at SurveyMonkey, but you can find the link on my Twitter. I keep tweeting it out every now and again. So just find that link, click it, and vote for the Beast Awards. If you feel so inclined to throw some of those votes my way to Another Damn Trivia Show, that would be fantastic. Solo PodQuest, International PodQuest, games and hobbies, those are all things that I think would be great. I said PodQuest. Apparently I'm subliminally shilling for Epic PodQuest. I meant podcast. But either way. But really, as I've said last week, no vote goes wasted on the Beast Awards because all the shows and all the podcasters on the Wicked Radio Network are fantastic and worthy of love. And I want to give you some love, but I need to know if you did well on trivia first, if I can give you that love. So, let's get to the answers, and let's get to them right now. Stop the presses! We don't have presses. Or a record player, for that matter. Weird. Anyway, I had a last bit of news I wanted to get to you guys before we got to the answers. And that is that the Wicked Radio Network has entered into a really cool partnership with Radio Fubar. If you don't know what Radio Fubar is, where have you been living all your life? Probably not on those internet radio places. But listen up. If you go to radiofubar.com, or you can find it on various apps, it's a live streaming radio station on the internet. It's fantastic. It's really great. And if you like the stuff on Wicked Radio Network, you're going to dig the stuff on Radio Fubar, like-minded folk and all. The way the partnership works is Radio Fubar has kindly offered to run a lot of our live shows on their streaming site, which is fantastic because their streaming site is awesome. But not only that, they are also carving out basically Tuesday to the Wicked Radio Network, which means they will schedule shows from our network to be played on their radio station every Tuesday. And yours truly is one of those shows. So, if for some reason you can't get Another Damn Trivia Show for some weird, crazy reason, like Stitcher doesn't get it up on time or whatever, and you want to check it out on Radio Fubar, all you have to do is go there on Tuesdays at 7:45 Central Time, which means that is 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be playing there. So go check it out. And I love my spot because I'm nestled in between Get Out the Room and the Twisted Sisters. Now, no offense to Get Out the Room, kind of wish it was the Horror Honeys, just to stick with that whole really great-looking horror twisted girls on top and bottom. But you know what? Get Out the Room's awesome as well. So. And you know what? I don't mind nuzzling in with them. Wait, was that weird? Anyway, sorry. Radio Fubar, check it out. Partnership with the Wicked Radio Network. That's all. Back to your regular scheduled answers. Our first category this week was The Haunting of 41. And the answers were Guillermo del Toro, White, as in the lady in white, Kevin Bacon, The Television, and that great rock song, Don't Fear the Reaper. Our second category was Names and Places, and I was looking for Whitney Houston, Paris Hilton, Joaquin Phoenix, Orlando Bloom, and Frankie Avalon. Our third category was Cryptozoology. Question 1 was the Sasquatch. Question 2, the Yeti. Question 3 asked for the Mexican cryptid whose name translates to mean goat sucker. That was Chupacabra, not Frank Branches, as most assumed. Question 4 was Ogopogo, and question 5 was Australia. The next category was Who Drives It? Han Solo and Chewbacca drive the Millennium Falcon. Bo and Luke Duke drive the General Lee. Michael Knight drives Kit. Morpheus is the captain of the Nebuchadnezzar. And it's the Doctor, or Doctor Who, that flies, or pilots, or rides around in, or captains, or however you want to word it, the TARDIS. And our final category was Joey's Super Hard Sports Trivia. Question 1 was Derek Jeter. Question 2 was Jerry West. Question 3 was Benjarvis Green Ellis from the Cincinnati Bengals. Question 4, I was looking for the top 3 teams ranked for value, and that were the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Redskins. The Cowboys were the most valued, followed by the Patriots and the Redskins. And finally, it was Phil Rizzuto that was doing the play-by-play on the Meatloaf song, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. And ladies and gentlemen, those are your answers. What was your score? Tweet it to me so I can shout you out next week. And let me leave you with some advice. Remember, seances are a great way to communicate with the spirit of your dearly departed mom, but things can get really awkward if she decides to share with everyone what she found under your mattress when you were a teen. I'm just saying.
Well, that brings us to the end of another damn trivia show. You're a little wiser, a tad more intelligent, and a heck of a lot smarter. You're welcome. Remember, there are no stupid questions, but there are stupid answers. Luckily, those are usually funnier. Have a great day. Have a great week. Stay smart.